Hey, what's up you guys? So today we're going to go over the first 4 downward strikes for the Nunchaku-Do system. So they're going to look like this. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. All right, so maybe you'll have noticed that 2 of those are just like the other 2, right? Except for all we are doing is adding the extra spin, just like we talked about in the last lesson. If you haven't watched that, go back and watch the last lesson. All right, so just like in the last lesson, our ending position is going to be here. All right, so whether I'm doing an upward strike or I'm doing a downward strike, my ending position is the same. I want this one, the top one, to be as horizontal as possible, so try not to go here. And then I want this one to be vertical. Again, it might be a little bit angled based off of the length of your arms. So just be aware of that. So when we're doing this, we're going to strike, and we're going to try to strike right down that center line. And then we're going to come off to the side just a little bit. And we're going to do what I call the windshield wiper, right? So the windshield wiper is just flicking this wrist over. So after I strike down that center, I come off to this side, I flick over so that it'll land into my hand. If I don't do this wrist flick, what'll happen is I go down at this angle, which means it's going to come back up at the angle on the other side. So what that'll look like is that. So if you find yourself hitting yourself in the back of the head, chances are you're not doing the windshield wiper. So again, we're going to strike here and then flip it over. A good way to practice this is to put this hand across so that it's out of the way, and then circle this. You should windshield wiper when it's off to the side, and it should go right next to your shoulder. And then whenever you put your hand there, it should land right in your hand, just like that. All right, now whenever we're doing this, one of the big things I see a lot of people do is they reach back to try to catch it. Again, we wanna just have our hands in the spot, and we wanna just let it fall into our hands, all right? If our hand's in a different spot, it should still go into that same spot, right? Hey, it's not there because that's not the proper position. So we want to just train our body to make sure that it's always in the right spot, and we're just feeding the chuck right into our own hand. We shouldn't have to be searching for it, all right? So now our second downward strike is going out, and now when I'm at the solar plexus, right, tip of the chuck right at the solar plexus, I do my concentration spin. Right, now this one is going towards the outside instead of the inside like on the upward strike, but it's still on the outside, right? So we covered this last time. If the hands are out in front, anything in between is the inside. Anything on the outside, it's outside, right? So we're on the outside, and it is an outward strike. So this is outward, and this is inward, right? Notice how it's just coming back in towards me, makes it inward. I do that on upward strikes, and on downward strikes, I go outwards, which will allow it to be able to get caught. All right, so we're going here, do our spin, right there in the center, and catch. Just like before, the tip of the chuck, whenever we're doing our spin, shouldn't be moving. So I don't want to have this big looping motion where I'm rotating at the wrist. I want the rotation at the end of the chuck, right at my solar plexus, and we're going down in that straight line. Again, you should notice that it's going to be still whenever I'm doing that. All right, so that's our second downward strike. Our third downward strike, this one has a little bit of footwork involved, right? So I'm going to be stepping in and to the front. Now the idea behind this is that the chuck should still be going in the straight downward motion, and now I'm getting my body out of the way, right? So you can practice just that. Hold the chuck here, step, and try to strike right down your center line and get out of the way, just like that. And now I'm just gonna allow it to come back up the other side. Now I'm gonna move my body out of the way for the strike, and once it passes, it's cleared, then I'm gonna go right back into my spot so that I can throw it over and catch it, all right? So here, here. So I should be landing this foot again at the same time that I'm catching. Just like this. Bring it around. And now, if you're having trouble or you're hitting yourself in the head with this one, a lot of the time it's because the lack of consistency, right? So if I put my hand here, well, it's not going to be in the same spot. If I put my hand here, it's also not going to be in the same spot. What I like to do is I like to put my hand right on the small of my back, right on my spine. And then I do that, and I try to stay as consistent as possible. So every single time I do it, it doesn't change. If I change every single time, well, I'm going to miss it a lot more often, right? So focus on consistency. Find where that spot is for you. It might be a little bit different than where it is for me. And then another good way to practice this when you're first starting off is to practice putting it over the shoulder. So this hand out of the equation for now. I'm just going to put it over that shoulder and then grab it. All right, step and put it over that shoulder. And just practicing putting it there, right? And then all you have to do is put the hand in that spot and it should go right into your hand. Because we practice setting it right on that shoulder every single time and we're practicing to be as consistent as possible, once I put my hand there, it should go right into my hand, right? So this one takes a little bit of time for people to do, but I want you to just get it down. If you hit yourself in the head, I meant to actually hit myself in the head, I messed up that time. But if you hit yourself in the head, whatever, hopefully you're using foam and you're not getting hurt, and you do it again and again and again until you no longer hit yourself in the head. And then when you hit yourself in the head again, you just laugh about it, right? Because we all do. All right, so now the fourth strike, our fourth downward strike, is gonna be the exact same thing as I'm stepping, but now I have the outward spin, right? That concentration spin, and I go back, and the same exact mechanics. Only difference is I'm adding a spin now, right? Everything else is exactly the same. Just like this, right? From the side, notice I'm still gonna step out of the way, but I still want that tip in that exact same spot every time as I'm doing this. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's do a drill so that we can put this together. So you can practice 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4, and that's a great way to practice, but sometimes it's more fun to mix it up, right? I like to mix things up. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so the 1, 1 is our reset. So I'm gonna start off 1, and now I'm gonna go 2. Now I'm gonna go 3, and then 4. 1, 1, because that first one is our reset or switching sides, and then we begin again. Now 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to demonstrate this from the side. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, I missed it. What does that mean? It means I have to do it all again, right? If you make a mistake, like I just did, that's fine. We all make mistakes. I make mistakes every single day. Fix it, right? So do it again and make sure that you get it right. And if you mess up again, do it again and make sure you get it right. You're not allowed to stop after making a mistake. You're allowed to stop after you've corrected the mistake. So let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more time just for funsies. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so again, that was our first 4 downward strikes and just a little drill to be able to practice this. So hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, like, subscribe, and comment. Yeah, don't forget to comment too. I'd like reading the comments and interacting with you guys. Also, if you don't have a pair of these trucks, check them out. They're on Amazon. Link's gonna be down below. If you're in America, buy them from Amazon. If you're not in America, buy them from the other website. Also, link will be down below. All right, have a great day.